Okay, so let's start. So we saw about class and objects in last session. I think everybody understood what class and object is, right? Yeah, good. Does anybody have any doubt in this? Yeah, good. Does anybody have any doubt in this? Okay, so we can move forward, right? Okay, so we will move forward now. Uh, Today we will be discussing about functions and some special functions that we are going to use with classes. So we already know that a class has functions that we called as member functions because this function is the member of this particular class. Now we will see a property of C++ or any object oriented programming language. So what is it called as? It is called as function overloading and function overriding. So today we are going to focus on these two things, function overloading and function overriding. So let's say there is a function whose name is integer and it gives the addition of two ints. Let's see, int num1 comma int num2. Something will be in the body of this function. So this is our function, right? So let's say I want to create another function who will take two floats and it will return the float. Here we are taking two ints. What we are doing? We are taking two numbers which are int in the data type. Let's say 1 and 2, and we are returning the addition of them. Now let's say I want to create another function which will take two floats and will return the float as a output. So let's say I created another function. Let's say float add floats. It will take two floats, float num1 comma float num2, right? So this is our two functions. Now let's say I want to create another function which will take two strings and will return the addition of those two strings. Let's say there is a string and how the addition of strings takes place. Let's say this is string 1 which is hello space and second one is string. Second string is world. So what will be the output of this? It will be equal to hello space Okay. So what I have to do? I have to declare another function which will be string as return type. Then I have to give add strings, then string str1 comma str string str2, and it will return the addition. I haven't written any logic, okay, for simplicity. So let's say these three are separate functions. What is the name of first? First one is add, then next one is add floats, and third one is add strings. I have to give separate names to each one. Now let's say I want to give same name to each. Let's say I say add, add, and add. So here, as you can see, let's say I did like this. I only kept it as add, and here also instead of add strings, I told it as only your name is add. This is our third function, right? So now what our compiler will do? Our compiler will automatically the return or determine when we call a function. Our compiler will automatically determine which function is being called and will execute the body of that particular string, that particular function. Okay, so let's take a simpler example for understanding. Suppose it is void, let's say function, and it will take no parameters, and the body of this function is cout function 1. Okay, so this is our body of function. Then let's say create another function with same name. Okay, the name of the function should be same. Then and only then we are allowed to do function overloading. Let's say void function. The only difference between two functions should be the number of parameter it takes or the data type of parameter. So in first function there is no parameter, and let's say we are giving for second function as integer num. So the body of this function should be or will be cout function 2. Okay, so these two functions has been declared and defined. Now let's say in main function, here will be our main function, right? In main, first I say function. I call the function without any parameter, and later I call the function with 2 as a parameter, right? What I did first, I called function. So our compiler will automatically determine that this function should be called. Why? Because there are no parameter. Even though no, the definition is sorry, the name of the function is same, right? This function is also named as function, and this function also has name as function. The name of the functions are same, but the number of parameter that it takes are different. Here it is none, and here it is one integer. So when we call this function, it will automatically call this function. Okay, everybody understood? Does anybody have any doubt? सगळ्यांना कळालंय का? Let's take another example. Okay, I will add another function. and I will name it as, obviously I have to name it as function, and let's say the parameter that it takes is 2. The number of parameter is 2. So first one will be float num1 and second one will be float, or let's say it will take two ints which will be num1 and num2. So as you can see, the number of parameter that this function takes is different than these two. So this function is different, it will be treated as different function, and when it will be called, when we pass two parameters which are int to a function call. So I will give it as cout cout function 3. Okay, does anybody have any doubt in this? So to call, so print function 3 on the terminal, what do we have to call in function definition, in sorry, in function calling, what do we have to write? Function, and I have to pass any two integer values. Let's say 13 and 26 are the two integers that I have passed. It doesn't matter, the value of integer doesn't matter. So our function will automatically, our compiler will call automatically this function. Okay, I hope everybody understood till this. Till this point, all the concepts are clear. Can we move forward? Hope so. Nobody has doubt. So let's say I have created another function. So its return type will be void function num. Let's say float. It will take only one parameter, which will be float, and we will give it as num1 as its variable name. And in function, I will say cout function 4. 2 point, you have to give a float as parameter. So automatically our function will call, our compiler will call this function. I have not written any return type here. My mistake. I hope everybody understood. Does anyone have any doubt in this? So this concept is called as function overloading. Okay, this is function overloading. Now let's go back to the first example that we were saying. So what is this? It is integer, it is float, and here it is strings. So we have three functions with same name. What is the name? Add. And how we are differentiating these two or these three functions? By the return type and by the parameter that we are taking. Anything, the number of parameter or the data type of the parameter. If any of these is different, then we consider these as two separate parameters. Okay, जर डाटा टाइप वेगळा असेल किंवा नंबर ऑफ व्हेरिएबल्स किंवा नंबर ऑफ पॅरामीटर जरी वेगळे असतील तरी त्या आपण दोन फंक्शनला वेगवेगळे फंक्शन असं ट्रीट करणार. इथं बघू शकतोय आपण नंबर ऑफ पॅरामीटर सेम्स आहेत पण डाटा टाईप वेगवेगळा आहे. इथं आपण बघू शकतोय इथे की डाटा टाईप जरी सेम आहे तरी पण नंबर ऑफ पॅरामीटर्स वेगवेगळे असल्यामुळं इथं हे दोन वेगवेगळे फंक्शन्स ट्रीट होणार. इथपर्यंत कुणाला काय अडचण? फंक्शन ओव्हरलोडिंग कळालं का? आय होप एव्हरीबडी अंडरस्टूड. ह्यात काय अवघड नाहीये, सिंपल कन्सेप्ट आहे. आता आपण बोलूया फंक्शन ओव्हररायडिंग कडे. दिस इज फंक्शन ओव्हरराइड. आता फंक्शन ओव्हररायडिंग आणि लोडिंग मध्ये ओव्हरलोडिंग ही थोडीशी डिफिकल्ट कन्सेप्ट आहे, ओव्हररायडिंग सोपी कन्सेप्ट आहे. त्यामुळे ओव्हरलोडिंग तुम्हाला आधी शिकवलं, अवघड कन्सेप्ट तुम्हाला कळाली आहे. आता सोपी कन्सेप्ट तर विषयच नाही. ओव्हररायडिंग कधी होतं सांगतो, जेव्हा व्हेन वी हॅव same exact same exact declaration for the function but different definition. हे लिहून घ्यायचं काय असते, सेम डिक्लेरेशन बट डिफरंट डेफिनेशन. तेव्हा काय होतं, ओव्हर रायडिंग होतं. आता डिक्लेरेशन म्हणजे काय, तर पहिल्यांदा येतं रिटर्न व्हॅल्यू, देन फंक्शन नेम आणि नंबर ऑफ पॅरामीटर्स विथ data type. This is called as function declaration. So this is declaration for when two functions have same declaration, when we say that we have same return value, same function name and same exact number of parameters with their data types. Everything should be same, return type, function name, number of parameters and data type of that particular parameters. I will take an example here. Let's say our first function is of int, return type will be int and the name should be multiplication, say multiply, and it takes two integers, int a comma int b, and it will print cout this is multiplication, and we will return what, a into b. Okay, what it will do, it will first print and then will return the multiplication of two numbers. And let's say we created another function which is int multiply itself, multiply, we'll say int a comma int b, and then we'll have it as cout hello there, and it will return a into b. So as we can see, these two are exactly same in the function declaration, but the definition are different. What is the definition in this? It will print the this is multiplication and then will print the multiplication, but here we only have hello there. So when we call In main function we will call like this. So here will be our main function. It will be into main, and in main function we called as multiply. We will give two integers, right? 2 and 3. Here will be written 0. So what our compiler does? So let's understand. First it will check, is there any function called as multiply? So we have two functions, right? Here it is one and here it is one. These two are functions with name as multiply. Now our compiler will check the number of parameters. Number of parameters are 2 and 3. It also takes, the number of parameters are 2, which are integer 1 and integer 2, which are a and b, as you can see here. So our compiler will then decide which one to choose, this or this. As you can see here, the number of parameters is exactly same, and the data type of these two parameters are also exactly same. So what our compiler does, whichever function has come later or latest, whichever function is latest. So as we know, the compilation process is top down, right? Top down. आपला कंपायलर कसा वर्क होतो, वरून खाली. First we compiler the instructions that are above, then we go down step by step, line by line. So what our compiler will do, it will assign the multiplies definition as this. Later it will apply the definition to the multiply as this, whatever we have written here. Okay, so what our function call will give us, first of all hello there, and then return ab. Okay, so everybody, did you understood the concept of function overriding? फंक्शन ओव्हररायडिंग कसं वर्क होतं कळतंय? कोणाला काही यात डाऊट? So everybody take note of it. If you want to, you can also write the code for this. Please hurry up fast. And after you are done, let me know. Okay, is everybody done with their notes? Can we move forward? Am I audible? Can we move forward? Okay. Okay, so let's take an example. So as we know, the first line will be including the input output stream. Then we will use the namespace as std. Then we will use it. So after writing the boilerplate, we will declare a function. So let's say here we are declaring a function. So what will be its type? Let's say integer. We have integer add, and it will take integer 1 and integer 2. After that it will return a plus b. Okay, and let's say after that we have integer add, uh, no, float add. It will take two floats, float a comma float b. It will return a plus b. Good. So what is this function? This is function is adding two integers. This function is adding two floats. So we will write it as cout uh, add 1 comma 2, and we will end the line. After that we will print the addition of two floats, which will be 2.3 comma 1.2, and for that we will have float a is equal to 2.3, and type int float b is equal to 1.2. Here we will have integer x is equal to 1 and integer y is equal to 2. So we will pass x and y. Here we will pass a and b. Okay, does anyone have any doubt in this? ह्याच्यात काही कळणार नाही किंवा कळालं नाही असं काय आहे का आतापर्यंत ह्या कोड मध्ये जेवढं लिहिलंय? इज एव्हरीवन विथ मी? Okay, so now you have to tell me what will be the output of this function, which function will get called, and what will be the output. This is first function, this is second function. Which function will be called after for this particular function call? Isn't it obvious? This will be called. Why? Because these two are integers. And which function takes two integers as a parameter? This function. So obviously we will have 3 as an output. Output will be 3. Now for second function. So second function call. We have A and B both as floats. As you can see here. Both are floats. So which function named add takes two floats as input? This function. So we will return A, as you can see, A plus B. Shall we run the code? Yeah, definitely. We have 3 and 3.5 as answer. So now let's adjust the add function a little bit. What we will do is we will add the 1 to we will add 1 to whatever addition comes between A and B. What we are doing, we adjusted just one thing. What we do? We add 1 to the result of addition of these two numbers. So now what will be the output for this cout? It will be 1.2 plus 2.3 plus 1. Shall we run this code? As you can see here, you have 4.5 as output. Did everybody understood what we did? Okay, good. Now what you have to do is you have to take this code and play with it. You have to make adjustment to it. You have to print something else. What you can do is, let's say here we add cout hello, this kind of stuff you have to do. ओके, तुम्हाला ह्या कोड सोबत खेळायचा, हा कोड मी प्रोव्हाइड करेन. ह्या कोड सोबत तुम्हाला खेळायचा आणि हा जो कोड आहे, हा जो कोड दिसतोय तुम्हाला, त्याचं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन करून बघायचं. कोणता? हा हा जो दिसतोय का, हा इंट ऍड फ्लोट स्ट्रिंग, ह्याचा एक आणि ह्याचा एक, ह्याचं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन तुम्हाला करायचं आहे. ह्याचा स्क्रीनशॉट काढून घेतलं तरी चालतंय, कारण ह्याचं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन तुम्हाला करायचं आहे. आजची असाइनमेंट हीच आहे. ओके, now let's move on to the function overriding part. So what we will do first, we have to include the IO stream. So now what we will do is, first we will have a function with void as return type, then we will have print, not print, we will have operation. What we are doing, we are performing an operation which will take two integers and it will return the sum of them. So let's say cout the addition of a's, and after that we have same function repeated, operation int a comma int b, and it will do its cout subtraction. So what we are doing? We have two functions. Operation. We are taking two integers, and in first function call we are printing addition, and second function we are printing subtraction. So let's say we have two integer, int a is equal to 4 and int b is equal to 2. So I called the operation as operation function and passed a and b to it. So now you have to tell me what will be the output. 6 2 6 and 2. Okay. So you are saying both functions will be called. Okay. So both functions will be called. So that's not true. Only one function will be called. Which function will be called? The second one. Why? Because this is our latest definition. I think I did some mistake while explaining the function overriding, right? So that's not true. I'm sorry. So whenever we call the operation function, the function which matches this description, which is latest in our stream, which is latest in our code, that function will be called. So here operation AB, this function will be called. This will not be called. Why? कारण आपण आधी हे लिहिले आणि त्यानंतर हे लिहिले. आता हे बघा कसं असते. आता आपण लिहिलं इंटिजर एक्स. लेट्स कन्सिडर इंटिजर एक्स. पहिल्यांदा मी म्हटलं एक्स इज इक्वल टू 1 आणि नंतर म्हटलं एक्स इज इक्वल टू 4 आणि आता मी प्रिंट केला सी आउट एक्स असं प्रिंट केलं. तर मला सांगा एक्स ची व्हॅल्यू काय आहे आता सी आउट केल्यानंतर. ऑब्विसली 4. असं असू शकतं का एक्स ची व्हॅल्यू 1 पण आहे 4 पण आहे. नाही. राईट. तसंच सेम concept is applied here. Same concept is applied here. Operation function will have only one definition, which will be this, cause this comes later. Okay. So run करूया. Let's see what operation definition of function operation defined here. One sec. Okay. So now we have to do function. So this is the base. We have not yet implemented anything. So everybody understood what our compiler will do? Okay, good. Now let's run this code. So it is giving error. As you can see here, it is giving us error as that this is previously defined here. So we have to overcome this. Okay, we have to overcome this error. So how we will do this? How we will do it? We have to use the concept of class and objects to implement the function overriding correctly. Okay, what we wanted to do? We wanted to override this previously defined function, but we can't. Okay, in functional programming we can't do this, so we have to use object oriented programming concept to implement this particular operation. Okay, so I will be telling you how to do it. So